Residents of Tongaat are planning to take to the streets on Thursday in protest over water supply disruptions lasting over 2 weeks. Infrastructure has been severely damaged by the KwaZulu-Natal floods, which have left many areas without water supply. NGO Gift of the Givers digging boreholes to assist in the area. eNCA's Ronald Masinda is in Tongaat and sent us this report.
We are in Tongaat, where thousands of residents are still affected by not having running water. They say this has been taking place for over 3 weeks now. Many businesses, schools and clinics are also affected. We've also been told by residents that schools have to close early because the children need running water. What we can also say at this stage is that as part of the contingency plans here, Gift of the Givers has deployed a borehole specialist. We are joined by him now. Thank you so much, Martin, for your time. Talk to us about this process.
Okay, the first thing that we got to do is we got to get our geologists out here to site all the sites that we need to go drill. There's a couple of temples they sited and a couple of schools. And so from there on, we started on Monday. We got 2 boreholes drilled yesterday. The one borehole yields about 9,000 litres an hour. The other one at the other temple yields about 5,000 litres an hour. We went down about 36 metres on this one, and the other one we went down 60 metres. So we got a really good flow yield here. Now, what needs to be done still, we still have to develop the borehole so we can do it for the long term, and then we're going to put some UPVC casings down with a gravel pack. Finished drilling, we're going to move the drilling rigs away in a couple of hours from now, and then we're going to send the yield testing team down so they can come and yield test the borehole so we can see what the aquifer actually does, how fast the water goes down and how fast it recovers. And according to that, we can work a pump out what type of pump we should put in the borehole. And going with that, we still have to take the water samples. Now, the city said they will help us with the sampling of the water so we can at least give people safe water to drink. If the water is not safe, then people can actually use it for all other stuff, toilets, washing cars, washing dishes, clothes and all that. So we'll let people know for what they can use the water.
How long will this process take, and how much water is really needed here?
Well, I think 2 boreholes is not enough. I think we need about 50 boreholes or even more in the town of Tongaat. We're ready to drill about 10 of the boreholes so long. But there's a lot of water. Remember, the whole town is without water. You got your rivers that in the flood. It took all the water and all the circulation out. All these piping, it's going to take months and months to fix all this. And then even if the water is back online, we got a problem. Pipes might be clogged because there was no water in the pipeline. So this is a big situation that Tongaat are actually in.
You've previously worked with Gift of the Givers at other assignments, other areas in other provinces. How bad is the situation here in comparison to some of the work you've done?
Well, the comparison here, Tongaat's been without water for 23 days. You got a lot of communities in South Africa that's been without water for 13, 20 years. You got new, your rural communities that doesn't have any articulation. They go and get water from rivers and springs where the animals actually get their water from. So you can just imagine the bigger problem in South Africa that we have. We are in a disaster in Tongaat. That's why we came down to help here. But we still need to go back to the rural communities. In a lot of places in Africa, we got droughts in a couple of places. We got cities or towns growing faster than the amount of water that we got to give people. So we do have a big problem.
We also don't want to delay your team, so maybe they can also start drilling. Before I ask you my last question, how important is water now in this community as opposed to other areas that has been without water for many months?
Well, we got a critical situation in Tongaat because remember, in the first place, other areas people are used to not having water, so they got the ways to find water. But Tongaat doesn't have those resources that the other communities are used to. They don't have water. They're not ready for having no water in the town. So we got a really, really big problem here.
All right. Martin Ladman, thank you very much indeed for your time. He is the borehole specialist who has been deployed here by Gift of the Givers. Now, what we also understand is that the frustration of community members here in Tongaat is so much so that tomorrow they will be staging a protest. They say that they can no longer go without water for much longer. This is Ronald Masinda in Tongaat in KwaZulu-Natal.